For another episode in our Palmfest series, I'm very excited to be joined by both Dave and Randy from the Front Porch Swinging Liquor Pigs.
Oh yeah.
People who regularly frequent Palmer's will be very familiar with these guys. You play there every Friday.
Every Friday, 7 to 10.
Yeah. And in fact, this was recorded on a Friday, so you are en route to Palmer's right now.
Direct shot through. Yeah.
And this is the 20th anniversary of you playing. It hasn't been on the West Bank the entire time, but it began on the West Bank at the Viking Bar in 1997. So 20 years
Ouch.
ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then via a
Where do you get your information?
from this guy.
I
This
got
man
off
just
wiki.
So back to 1997, 2 nights a week.
Started on Thursdays and Fridays.
Boy, now see, I'm here for the reminders. Yeah, so did we do Thursdays?
We did Thursdays and Fridays for quite a while now.
Oh, goodness.
That's
Charles
what
and
this
Ed
is, to get you into the spirit, with it being the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole, it's a ruse. It's
I guess I had kind
like
of forgotten about the
this is your
Fridays for
lifestyle,
some reason. Or the Thursdays for some reason.
I've been rereading your diary.
How many how many liquor pigs were there at that time when it was Thursdays and Fridays back in '97?
There were none.
There were no liquor pigs.
No, there were none. We were. I don't even know if we cared to even tell
Give
people
yourself a
who
name.
we were.
Yeah.
No, we never bothered with a name. We didn't think we were going to be there that long.
What, you didn't think 20 years?
We didn't think.
No,
20
was it?
minutes.
So how did the name come about?
I'll defer to Dave's version, and
And
there's probably
there's
more
alternative
actually.
versions, and one of them will come from you.
Yeah, we might get a phone call if you've got it. The
We have
wires
a-
are lit up here.
Well, we had opened for somebody over in Northeast in, what was that place called?
It was Spring Street.
Spring Street.
Ah,
Spring Street State.
And
Okay.
there was some show there, and we were, just a duo that we, played before some band, which I don't know who that was. And Rusty Jones was there, who played in Safety Last and played with Curtis A and B. And he came up afterward and said, I want to play with you guys. I want to join you guys. And me and Randy like, why? But he was
Rusty's
really
quite good.
yes.
Yeah, and
I
he
mean,
was he was really into the music. So then he started playing with us, and I think it was
So
after.
it was a 3-piece.
Yep.
Then there was 3.
And then we had a Thursday night gig at Spring Street after that.
Mm-hmm.
And one particularly brutal night, when we had to go to Palmer's the next night, and none of us were feeling very, very good. And somebody asked us, what's the name of the band? And Rusty just goes, Liquor Pigs.
Because that's how you were feeling.
That's
You had
how we
some-
felt,
you
and
had
it
some
kind of stuck. And then Randy crammed all the other stuff on the front.
So you're responsible for
well, we
the
were
front
sitting
porch
on
thing.
Rusty's porch actually
Okay.
at one point, and he had a great porch, and that's kind of where we rehearsed.
Yeah.
And we
So you
were
were swinging the
really
porch with
quite. We were rehearsed somewhat adamantly compared to now.
Okay.
Which I don't believe we've. I think we rehearsed for the first month and said no more of that ever again.
Because you were playing at least once, often twice a week.
We just decided that the music really didn't have to be rehearsed. It could just kind of form itself over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There were some warts, and it was fine to play them too.
Yep. And so mostly covers.
Yeah, sort of an
Yeah.
eclectic bunch of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave is actually, in my mind, a very prolific, a good writer.
I agree. Because so on the brilliantly titled "Forget Your Truffles and Buns," there's a couple of originals. Hometown.
Hometown Gang.
Yeah.
Hey Baylor. There
Yeah.
might be one other one on there. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get either. You have to go to Japan to get that record.
Or iTunes.
Huh?
I think iTunes has that one.
iTunes has
Huh?
it, yeah.
You can still get that first one on iTunes, I think.
On iTunes.
Yeah, I was listening to it today.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Dog. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wonder where that
I
goes.
love "Come On Up to the House." Your cover of "Come On Up to the House."
Tom Waits, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually sent Tom Waits a $50 check.
For that, for having covered that song.
Yeah, I
Because of
figured
covering that song.
you know, Dave Ray, Dave Snaker Ray,
Yep.
John Kerner, you know, people
Of
that
course.
we borrow heavily from.
Yeah.
I had talked to Dave Ray, and it was because I kind of produced the first record, blah blah blah, you know, quotations, produce, whatever, you know, it was all very new to me as to what was happening. And I
Yeah.
said, Dave, you know, how do you deal with this? You know, playing other people's songs. You
Mhm.
know, there's no such thing as you know, tradition. What's the property? Traditional stuff. What's that called?
Public domain.
Public domain. Thank
Yeah.
you. You know, because everything is bought by the pallet load, and somebody owns everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you know, just start an escrow account and throw a little money in it
Yeah.
as a good faith, you know, thing in case
So you sent
anybody
it to
knocks
Tom?
on your door.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was I didn't start a bank account over it. I just sent $50 to Tom Waits, hoping I'd get the signature. It was no, it's some enterprise.
How did you make that song your own, or how did you? So with any of these covers, is there a Liquor Pigs way to cover the broad range of different songs that you cover, or what?
We were quite jocular in the studio.
Yes,
you
and
know,
in the record that comes through. Like
yeah,
there's some
and
laughing,
that
it's
song
great.
being a little tilted towards a slightly more serious.
Yes.
And you know, I don't know, we just had this, you know, group of friends. We were all, you know, we pretty much populated the Viking. You know, we
Yeah.
kind of owned the place with the same 30 people came.
Creating a community.
Yeah, and most of them actually somewhat show up on that record.
Yeah.
The
All over the
singing
place.
on,
Yeah.
on like the chorus.
Yeah,
they
it-
like come on up to the
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
A lot of them were on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just they're kind of scattered all over because it was a pretty communal thing going on at the time. It was quite fun. So
That's the right song, I think, for it, because you said it's a bit more serious, but at the same time, especially the manner in which you cover it, involving everyone singing, that there's a sense of kind of collective spirit.
Yeah, it's a little more joyous.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you get like Thomas Hobbes being referenced. Does life seem nasty, brutish, and short? But at the same time, you've got the spirit of the Viking bar
yeah,
alive and well.
yeah. You know, the song was, I think, I covered fairly close to
Mhm.
how it went, but we just adorned it with more, you know, vocals.
Viking vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be a jug on there.
It could be a jug. There could be a pump organ. Not sure if that. No, that was probably something else. But anyhow, yeah, it was a very fun time. And working with Tom Seiler,
Mm-hmm.
he was the engineer,
Yes. Yeah.
and a very good one.
You were the producer.
I
And he
use
was the
that
engineer.
word softly.
Yeah. With each of these songs on, just focusing on Forget Your Truffles and Dance, I'll say it again because it's fun to say. Specifically when you were recording songs, how were decisions made as to like the instrumentation or even like which songs? Because you've been playing so many different songs.
Well, we threw
Nice.
a lot of stuff into the studio and threw a lot of it away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that never made it that were just ridiculous covers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can you remember some things that
We
didn't
did like a
make it, or-
hoedown version of Let It Be
Oh,
by
wow.
the Beatles.
Was that a staple from performing at the Viking?
It was, we had a huge song list, so that
Yeah.
it would come up, and it still comes up once in a while,
Mhm.
Now it sounds different because we have different instrumentation. But,
Yeah.
and a lot of those covers, it was, as a result of laziness because we never really learned the song properly.
Mm-hmm.
We did that replacement song, If Only You Were Lonely, and
Mm-hmm.
I probably hadn't heard that song since it came out, but I remembered it and remembered liking it.
Yeah.
And thought, well, let's try that. And I'm sure we play it wrong, but
Well, it depends on what you mean by wrong. Play it differently.
yeah,
We're assured that Paul Westerberg is not weighing in on the wrongness of it. But, so that keeps you going. You go until he says something.
Yeah, maybe Palmfest will be the time. I've been meaning to get to you guys.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It really was. The Viking was a very fun time, and and so is recording that stuff. We went about it really quite loosely, and that's why I give kudos to Seiler as well, because he was kind of into the folly of it
Yeah.
as well. He wasn't really like, trying to button the thing down. As a matter of fact, he may have provoked
Right.
more than
Yeah.
To capture like what the Liquor Pigs was.
Right. It needed to be loose.
Yeah.
And that whole band was, it was just a live band.
Yeah.
We never needed to record anything.
Also, yeah, that fits with some other stuff that you were saying. I highlighted that the last album, the most recent studio album, is called Last Album, and I was asking, why is it called Last Album? And
I insisted we were done.
Yeah.
We weren't going to record anymore.
yeah, and your attitude towards, you didn't particularly like being in the studio.
I didn't like it at all. Those guys liked it, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of can see come I didn't mind part of it, but
Yeah.
We were starting to get a little more, pile on, let's do this, let's do that. Jim, the drummer, who's very good and very, astute, he got more devices were left to him, and he seemed to be happy about that.
In a studio context.
Yeah,
So-
it became a more studio sounding album than anything, certainly beforehand.
Okay,
Jimmy learned a harmonica to play on one song.
which song?
It was another original. It was the Waldo song, I
That's
think. And he played 2 notes, and that's what he did. But those were the 2 notes he wanted on
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
that's the right way to play the song.
Yeah.
No matter what Paul thinks. Across the board. So how much time passed before there was the second record? Was that the
from
single?
the first Forget Your Truffles?
Yeah.
Oh, we were pretty eager, don't you think, Dave? I don't think we.
It must have been a couple of years in between.
Yeah.
But things were picking up, and
Yeah.
we were getting, the band was sounding better for one thing.
Mhm.
And actually, not that there's any money in the thing, but sales were as such that, wow, we broke even.
Wow.
And this was still at a time where production values were still fairly costly.
But you broke even with the first record then?
Both first
With
and the
both,
second,
yeah.
actually probably all of them,
Yeah.
nearly. First and second for sure. There was a strong following, and the Electric Fetus moved those things out at a pretty decent clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were playing a lot too.
Yeah.
We were playing over 100, maybe 120 gigs a year.
And that would be where you would sell most of the records, in
Yeah.
person at the shows?
If somebody remembered them.
Yeah.
Usually, I got a box at home.
Yeah.
So they'd be willing customers.
Oh, that car! I should have drove that car.
Will you drive the right car to Palm Fest with the CDs in it?
Oh no.
That would be misrepresenting what we're,
What you're
doing
about.
now.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
'cause that's totally, now we're mainly just a 3-piece.
Okay,
Me, Randy, and Tony Paul
yeah.
from Reggae All Stars and Soulaholics. Rusty's been coming back more frequently.
Yeah, it was his porch in the first place.
Yeah.
Very true.
And his liver.
But yeah, he's on a I'll let you know basis.
Cool.
If you can show.
Has
And
he,
that's fine.
Has he let you know whether he'll be playing at Palm Fest?
Oh, he'll be at Palm
He'll
Fest.
be at Palm Fest.
So a 4-piece at Palm Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least, yep.
And you're the second band to play on the first day, so on the Friday.
Right, so we'll be somewhere around 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
West
Right
Bank
before
time.
Eleganza just after you.
Yes, and then Poverty Hash.
Then
so
Poverty Hash,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
good.
gonna be a great
Poverty
night.
Hash. Joe and I are recording an interview immediately after this one. You might even make a little appearance at the end of this one. We'll see.
That will be
And
enjoyable for
And
you.
he might even make a little appearance, like he does sometimes. During the
At Palm
perform
Fest,
with the- with
he
the
may
bands,
well play with us if he's there. I think he did last year.
Have you heard the new song, the new Poverty Hash song, which is about Palmers?
No.
Yes, I have.
It's great. I'm sure, of course, that will be played.
We have a Palmer song.
You do.
We rewrote the lyrics to a Charlie Parr song.
Okay, which Charlie Parr song?
Jesus at the Kenmore. So now
Oh
it's
yeah.
Jesus down at Palmer's.
One of the first Back to the City interviews was with Charlie Parr, and we had a great discussion about that song. Will you play your Palmer's song at Palmfest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is
We
the
have to.
Kenmore? Is that a bar? In
It's a
Duluth?
bar. I don't think it's in Duluth. It was in. I thought it was in some other town.
Can you recall Charlie's anecdotes about the genesis of that song? Like why Jesus at the bar?
According from the story I remember, it was a true story. Is that he met a guy,
Yeah.
who claimed to be Jesus.
Proclamation.
Which lyrics change to make it be about Palmer's? Just the
Well-
title or other features too?
The title, the chorus. We mentioned some of the Palmer's people, including Willie Freeman, who's a bartender there.
Yeah.
And one whole verse is, pretty much about the liquor pigs, not about.
It's a fun song. Dave always insists I play some other song going out, and I go, no, that is a great song to leave by.
To close your Palmer's set.
I really,
For sure.
I really prefer it as our, St. Louis toodle-doo.
Yeah. I'm glad that local West Bank musicians are being referenced in that song. The same thing is happening in the New Poverty Hash song, because it begins, the first place I land is a Palmer's night on a Sunday night. It was Cadillac versus cornbread and whiskey against me. So which is great. It's a good way to start a song, isn't it? A good song.
But it's never a fair fight.
So
I know which one. There's Kenny J in that mix.
Tony Paul gets a reference actually. Tony Paul stole his own car. Do you know that story? I don't know that story.
Oh, Tony's car was stolen, and somebody saw it out on the street, and Tony went over with his keys and
Stole it back. Was it nice to return to the West Bank, given that 1997 to 2006 was the Vikings' residency at least once every week, and then you had a stint at the Eagles, and now, as we've established, you're back at Palmer's.
There's a looseness on the West Bank that you don't get anywhere else, and now that's what was really killing me at the Eagles Club was and a lot of people were just showing up there to dance, and line dancers and stuff, and you needed to be on, and you needed to try hard, and we don't always do that.
Well, it was a cavernous place. It
ball.
takes no less than 100 people to make it even feel somewhat viable.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Riemenschneider, when we moved over there, he called to say, hey, I want to do an article about you guys and as much about the Eagles. And he goes, any requests? And I go, well, I can't really think of anything. And when I saw the picture that was posted in the Star and Tribune the next day, or that following Friday, the caption was flying high at the Eagles, and he used a wide-angle lens and caught the two octogenarians dancing, and us out there on the tarmac. And it's like going, yeah, the wide-angle lens would have been a good thing to leave at home. That is, and that
because
was,
of the...
Oh, it just looked barren. It really just looked disparate. A good friend was running it and had actually worked into paying bands well. But the people, yes, that Dave's referring to, I call them the crop circlers. Because they just do that oval. And when they come by the stage, they go, okay, next time play a waltz. And
that's a bit demanding.
Yeah, and I go, well, you've seen this so many times. You got to give me 2 words of a song. We do some waltzes. 2 words. I'm not asking for the whole title.
Yeah,
but
that one.
You just can't
The
give me
one with
the
these
tempo.
Right.
And say there, good to go.
But there were people there that would dance to an oscillating fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't even need music. It was crazy, really bizarre at times.
So although the residency's been going for 20 years, like that period of it had quite a different character, it seems.
That was tough. That was
Yeah.
a lot more like work.
Thank you for keeping the baton going, ready to pass to yourselves, your Palmer selves.
Well, because I was dying to get to Palmer's. I really
And you've been
wanted to
so
be there.
okay. So you, whilst you were carrying said baton, you were also very proactively trying to make it, petitioning Palmer's in particular.
Randy took care of that because he's better at that kind of stuff.
But you were encouraging him to,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and Palmer's in particular. You,
I spend more time with bartenders.
So what was it about Palmer's? What is it about Palmer's that makes it the right home for the liquor pigs these days?
Spider John Kerner is a pretty big deal, and to be following him around, and just the viability of Palmer's is. I hadn't even personally known it was as great of a bar as it was. I still kind of looked at it as, these old venerables, who were drinking quite strong, quite cheap drinks.
Yeah, there's still that. It's
The
It's a
daytime
good
there's
feature,
it's just like a factory. It's got its shift changes,
yeah.
and but it's really quite cool. The 9 o'clock hour and stuff. A whole, another section of folks come in, and you go, wow. Now this is, you're playing to people that were very aware of you and really liked you,
Yeah.
and then this influx of
People that are coming in for the late show and discovering you,
Yeah.
enjoying you too.
Yeah, and it was really cool to actually be, portraying to people that you didn't,
Yeah.
didn't necessarily know you or did know you, and so let's go see them.
Yeah. Well, Nathan Reeder does a really great job, I think, of
Yeah.
having a much more broad range of like high quality acts there than one might encounter in other venues, and that's reflected in the Palm Fest bill. As you were arriving, Ariel from the Toxins
Oh, cool.
was leaving, and at the festival this year there's like Sass playing. They're one of my favorite new bands on the scene. Like there's something very special about Palmer's that's just one of the things that happens there that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
I actually volunteered. Well, I wouldn't say volunteered. I think I got paid for the gig, but to do sound for it on
really?
one of its like incubatory, first time or two out. This dates back,
Yeah.
15, 18 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and wow, that was some duty.
So you took it up.
I did,
For a bit.
from 10 a.m. to about 3 a.m. Because it got moved inside.
Yeah.
It was a total Donnybrook. It was.
That was before the whole patio back there, so you were just playing in mud. And they had a little
Exactly.
stage, but
Yeah. It was.
So this was for like the earliest Palm Fests?
It may have been number one. Honestly,
Wow.
I am not sure, but I think it could have possibly.
Who
been.
was it 1 day? Was it 2 days? Can you remember who was on
No,
the
it was
bill?
1 day. It was a Saturday. Yeah, it was a Saturday and went forever. Yeah, it was Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday is sort of ephemeral.
Yeah.
On the
Saturday
calendar.
went well into Sunday
Yes.
on this particular
Yes,
night.
it was. When it moved inside, it just got completely. I said, doing this once has been fun. I just remember it. This was in the days of this sort of, archaic cell phones too. And I'd left the van wide open. You just don't
Yeah.
really
Someone
care.
stole all the CDs.
Yeah, no, took my cell phone.
They took your cell phone?
Yeah, and and it's like, oh, damn it. And so I called it up and I go, hey, you got my cell phone, just take it back to the bar and I'll leave you $20 there. And the guy was kind enough to tell me, never call this number again. And I go, well, there will be no point because I'm going to have it disconnected.
It's going to be a useless number.
Yeah. It's like,
You should have waited until it just was left on the street for you to collect. Find his coupons. Yeah.
well, I thought the offer was fair,
Yeah, that was a fair offer.
Yeah, it's, Crazy Eddie's is selling that baby for $20 in the next hour, and then we're done here.
Yeah, right. Just sell it back to me. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was before the days of having a a phone book in your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the thing didn't really have a lot of value,
Right.
other than
It could.
you
cool.
didn't like things being taken from you.
Yeah. It couldn't film an interview like this one.
No.
I'm currently informing Joe by text that I'm interviewing his Liquor Pig friends currently, and that when he arrives, he should just like ring the doorbell and we'll let him in.
I don't know if he's got that level of manners.
Let's see. This is a test. He hasn't dealt with a British, reply British man before. We'll see what happens. At what stage did the two of you first encounter one another?
I think it was in the Randy Fellows. I'm not, wasn't it? It had to have been.
Yeah.
We were in a band called the Randy Fellows, which
Okay. And what did you?
Which
each
has
play?
nothing to do with me.
the name came before Randy did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you'll like this because the guy who came up with the name, he said, I want to call it the Randy Fellows Band. And I said, why? He goes, because then, people are going to ask who's Randy, and then we can say we all are.
Oh, we're all Randy fellows.
Yeah.
And then who?
That's
But then
brilliant.
you came along and you spoiled it. Who's Randy? He is.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think everybody quit after we got a real one.
Real Randy.
But I
So-
think that's when we started, and that was a rock band. Really, it was pretty good.
Not a bad
Loud
one.
rock.
Were you in
band.
the pre? So you were in the pre-Randy fellows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Randy comes along and spoils it for everyone with his name. How much time passed before the two of you decided to play more music together?
Well, I had this gig book because I quit playing for a long time. I just bought an acoustic guitar because I got sick of bands and stuff.
So you were just this like private songwriter.
Yeah, I
You write
just sit at
songs?
home and play and stuff. But this friend of mine was putting on these shows at O'Gara's, and or it was at Chang's, I think at the time, called Wayne Night, and you come there and you do 3-4 songs, and I wanted to do it, and Randy was the only guy I knew that actually owned an acoustic guitar,
Right.
and so we did that, and it was absolutely terrifying and not very good. But then this opportunity came up to play the Viking. And,
What, Chang O'Hara's?
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Over off of Selby?
Yeah. That's where the first one was that we did. Yeah.
we do something over there? Okay. Yeah, I kind of remember. I was not quite sure of the location.
That was 20 years ago.
It was terrifying too. It was just
It
What-
really
what
was.
was
I
it
do
terrible?
recall just like going, this can't
because
end.
it's just you and a guitar. I mean, it was two of us with two guitars, but there's no. You can't look at somebody else and go, "Oh man,
Yeah.
you're screwing up." I mean, you're hanging out there, and I was just a wreck. I could barely talk. It was horrible.
Just because of the pressure?
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was full room, and never done anything like that before.
Mm.
But we kind of at the 400. Remember the 400 Club was having.
But that always had a bunch of people.
Yeah, I know, but I told you to come down.
Oh, that's
and you
right,
should,
yep.
do this, and then we found out. Well, actually, we do have a lot of music in common that
Mm.
that you really didn't play in this rock band.
Okay.
You
You
played
hadn't been playing in-
Roxy music and British stuff all over the map,
Sounds good to
and
me.
you barely knew.
As do you, but Roxy music, British stuff.
Right, we barely knew that we knew American songs.
Yeah.
It was kind of like going,
And then you realize,
wow,
oh, this
you
guy
know
that I
Bill
know.
Brunsey song?
Yeah.
We must talk.
How interesting then that you began playing covers of things like Roxy music, and then you have the terrifying show where you're playing guitars but doing something very different from what you would eventually do, and that only then you realize, oh, this is what we should be doing.
Yeah, and I believe there was the fact that we were not allowed to sing
Mm-hmm.
in that band.
Yeah.
It almost was, please don't do that.
Just one front vocalist, no backing.
Yeah,
vocals.
and it wasn't much of an opportunity to to vocalize, and I think that was a driving fact too.
So you didn't expect what happened over the next 20 years to happen. Do you have any highlights of the intervening 20 years, or are there any like anecdotes, fun anecdotes? There must be.
Well, I have one in particular, of course, but not of course, but we were playing some sports bar over in St. Paul,
Okay.
and it was after during a hockey game, a professional hockey game, and this place was literally packed. I mean, just total flesh, wall to wall, and we're playing, and you would swear we weren't.
Right.
No one seemed to care.
Yeah, the owners of the flesh.
It's just a thicker
were
crop
unaware.
circling group. Just they're kind of just moving around
more raucous circles.
like a
yeah.
glob around this oval bar, and I think I had kind of worked up Tom Jones's Delilah,
Okay.
and I thought, oh hell with it, let's play it.
See what that.
Even though we
That's-
don't know how to play it. And everybody stopped and listened to that song. And then it was over and everyone went back to what they were doing. And it actually turned into a song that we had fun performing for a while. And,
Nice.
But-
well,
but-
thank you for all the fleshy people in the sports bar.
it's just,
So we had a gig up at it was the first, was it 10,000 Lakes Festival? It used to be up in
Oh
Detroit.
yes, yeah.
And we were booked for the first one. And it's like, me and Rusty had driven up together. And we pull in, and they're waving you through because, you're playing and everything. And I'm looking over at these two massive stages. And it's like, oh my God, we've arrived. Look at this. I don't care if
We
there's
made it.
nobody here.
Yeah.
This is going to be incredible. And then Rusty goes, oh, there's Jimmy. And he's pointing to the other side of the car. And I look out at my driver's window. And there's Jimmy, our drummer, setting up on what is like, the puppet show stage. Just so that was a little deflating.
What's in the future for you guys, for the Liquor Pigs?
well,
Palms.
the right diet.
I hope that's in my future. It's not here at the moment.
Oh, he's tweaking. We're not personally. I
We're
don't.
not that ambitious.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
not the studio. You're not eager to get
I
back
don't
in the studio.
I think that'll ever happen.
You did reveal to me that you had done some solo stuff. Like
Yeah.
before the interview, you were saying that you did go in because you've been writing more songs in the
Mhm.
meantime. Have you heard?
No, Dave. No, he had talked about it one time as like maybe you'd be interested in listening to this or coming in and doing some stuff, but we just go play live and then go see you the next time.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you do have a listen and maybe add some guitar.
Well, we might do something with that. You know all the songs probably,
Yeah.
so
Well,
there's
there's
that.
there's
Yeah.
just a comfort zone, for, personally for me, playing as much as we have, that it's
As
just,
long as we have.
yeah, that as long as we have, it's just really comfortable to, even though I think we were both talking about, even like coming down to Palmer's.
Yeah.
On the way down, I actually start to feel, oh, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. You're in traffic and
That's what you're thinking on the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of negative stuff, waddling around up there.
Yeah.
And
I should be working on my diet,
I really could
but
be.
instead
I
I'm
could be
traveling to
hammering
Palmer,
that
so
diet in the
yeah.
ground right now. And you get up and play the first 15 seconds, and you go, oh yeah,
This is why.
yeah, this is why I came.
We'll spend 15 seconds playing on the songs that are not necessarily going to be released otherwise. Is this do you think that you will release your
I don't
your originals?
people can hear them at Palmer's anytime they want.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll ever get to it. And now, I mean, because the two of us have been doing this for so long, but Tony Paul has come on board in the last few years,
Yeah.
which adds a whole nother thing to the sound.
Yeah.
And it makes us play different. It makes him play different. And so, you know, we're going in different directions with that too, you know, and we cover a song by Oliver Mtukudzi, you know, from Zimbabwe. So it's stuff that we could never do before, you know.
What are you going to play in your set? So as we arrive at the end of
we don't do
the
set
episode.
lists.
Oh, great.
No.
Okay, so just whatever the spirit.
Yes.
Whatever you want.
Dave plays a couple, and then he looks at me, and I go, "What do you want me to play?"
Nice. Yeah. I remember you were saying at the beginning, at least, when it began at the Viking Bar, you didn't want to ever play the same things more than once.
In a month. And we
yeah.
really, I mean, we tried.
Especially,
we really put a lot of work into trying to do that. I don't know if it ever happened, but you know, the learning curve at that point was so great because we were just learning so many songs that, you know,
yeah.
get all this repertoire down. So once
And
again, we're not that
there were
ambitious
plenty of
anymore.
antics to go along with it in the crowd. The crowd was having its own sense of fun.
Yeah.
The
Cops used to come through there every single night that we played at
The Viking.
At the Viking. Occasionally they'd take somebody out. Usually they just walk through to, you know.
Keep an eye on things. Yeah.
And they're always cool about it, you know. Hey,
Well, they
man.
knew you were playing.
Yeah. they had good senses of humor, you know.
yeah.
I'm excited to witness the unpredictable set and many future Fridays at Palmer's. It's a correct home for.
This is
you know,
correct.
Back on the West Bank for the indefinite future.
We'll be there.
7 until 9, is it? No, what?
7 to 10,
7
which
to
is
10.
a 3 hours gig, so it's a long gig.
Yeah.
But we used to play over like Dusty's over in Northeast, which is, you know, loved playing there. But that went from 9:30 to 1:30.
Yeah.
And you know, that gets really late. And Dusty's was always pretty cool about, like, if there's nobody there, you know, you can go home.
Yeah.
And we were playing, and it was a Thursday night, and we were there, and it got to be midnight, and I just hit the wall, you know, I was just dying.
Yeah.
But there was one guy there, and he just sat and clapped. And
He was
clapped.
enjoying it so much.
He stayed till 1, and it's like, oh, Randy, this guy's not leaving. 1:30, he's still there. 1:45, you know, then we get to quit. And the guy comes up to me afterward, you know, and he's going, man, I love your stuff. I just love your stuff. I've seen you so many times. I just love your stuff. Then he looks at Randy, he goes, but I don't know who you are. And I go, oh, wait a minute, you know, I go, you don't even know my name. And he goes, no, you're Dave, right? And I go, you think I'm Dave Simonette from Trampled by Turtles, don't you? And he goes, you're not? It's like, you've been sitting 8 feet from me all night. You don't recognize that I've got 20 pounds and 20 years on this guy?
So the whole time was he appreciating just his impression of seeing a different
What he
Dave?
thought he was seeing, yeah.
But and then you reveal your true identity, and it's
The
like
secret life of Dave.
Very secret.
And then that dispelled his actual enjoyment of the last.
Probably
2
went
hours.
home.
I thought I had dirt on
This
this
guy
guy.
screwed me over.
Sure, I had dirt on him.
Funny. What a shame.
So yeah, we don't stay out that late anymore.
Okay, well, I will be at your set clapping, fully aware of who you are.
All right.
And then keep it up for another 5 years, and we can do a 25th anniversary reflection.
That'll be interesting.
What's happened from 2017 to 2022,
Yeah, that's
25 years of Liquor
very.
Fix.
I would have said unattainable.
Well, that's what you think when you're heading to Palmer's.
yeah.
Until you get there, and then you attain it.
Damn, why does my car still know the way?
Cool. Well, we all know the way to Palmer's. We will be there
All right.
on Friday. Thank you very much for being here now.
Thank you.
I should let you get there now. Oh, there we
There's-
go.
Well,
He rang the bell.
I was hoping.
I would've lost that bet.
I was keeping it going until Joe arrived.
Well, you know the caliber of a good comedian. Timing.